want to see the kind of industries that are opening up.
This is Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. Local Biz Now.
You have to determine what is working, what isn't working.
Joe Vagnone is a respected business broker, helping individuals buy and sell businesses. Joe has successfully owned and operated many companies in a variety of industries. This is Local Biz Now. Biz Now, because your business matters.
Yeah. You are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina, coming to you from Burner Cigar Studio, home of the finest premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. Life is good at Burner Cigars, located in Brookdale Village and also in Denver on Highway 16. You are listening to Local Biz Now, where we hope to inform, inspire, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC 105.9 FM. 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. I am Joe Vagnone, and Local Biz Now is where your business matters. If you don't believe this is the #1 live business show in North Carolina, let me prove it to you. We have been doing this show over 11 years strong. We have interviewed over 910 small business owners and community leaders over the years. We have well over 745 interviews on the YouTube channel. Go to Joe Vagnone Business Broker. Again, Joe Vagnone Business Broker. Check it out, and please subscribe to our channel. We would appreciate that. You will see well over 745 interviews, details. They're broken up into really neat, cool packages, so you can just listen to what it is or who it is you want to listen to as well. We are live on the book, live on the tubes, live on X, live on the chain. If you don't know Joe Talk, that is live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on X, and live on LinkedIn as well. Also live on whatever podcasts you like to watch, as always. And it is important for you to know that Julie is monitoring live on Facebook. So feel free to go to WSIC Facebook and ask a question, and we'll be more than happy to try and get you into the show, which proves that everybody needs a Julie, and she'll be monitoring that as well. You know, no show happens without a co-host. Somebody got to bring the brains, and this month it is my friend, whether he will admit it or not, Chuck Cooper. He is the president and founder of Whitewater Consulting LLC. Chuck, my friend, thank you for being here, buddy. I appreciate it.
It is great to be back.
We had like a stir. I was 4 minutes to the late, possibly, and you were going to have to cover.
And I was really questioning.
You were going to do it.
You give that to me once. You say never again.
Well, I had confidence you could make it happen, but I wasn't sure how you were going to do it. You understand, Chuck? There was a part of me that wanted to drive around the parking lot and just listen on the radio. I should have done that, JoJo.
JoJo and I had a plan. We were going to make it work regardless.
I am confident you guys could have. Those of you that are listening, 77 North was just backed up. It literally was an hour and 10 minutes for me to get to a studio that normally takes me 30 minutes. I called Chuck with Julie on the phone, and we were deciding, okay, what do we do? How do we do it? Chuck said, I'm pulling in the parking lot. I'm ready to go. And I said, okay, then Chuck's going to do it if I can't get there. And so I should have drove around the parking lot. I should have driven around the parking lot and listened to the first 15 minutes of the show.
Next time.
That's right. JoJo, could he have done it? JoJo?
I think so.
Oh, you do? Okay.
We had a plan. There was going to be some good banter over here.
Let me ask you a question. Was the plan for him to run out the door and hide? Was that the plan?
No, I was going to give him the headset. I was going to say the music's going to play. You're going to intro the show, and then we'll just chat.
And that would have worked, and I'll tell you why I know that. Number one, I know you are a skilled person on the radio, so you would have been fine. But I watched, you might remember this, JoJo, at Christmas time, this man was forced to sing a Christmas carol on the spot. Yes. And he delivered.
Oh, yes.
So I think
I remember
between
that.
the two of you, you guys would have figured it out.
It would have been entertaining.
That's what
At
I
least.
Definitely been entertaining.
At the
That's
least.
why-
Yes, it would.
That's why I wish I'd have kept driving around the parking lot. That's exactly right. So, Chuck, thank you for doing it. I appreciate it, buddy.
Absolutely.
You're always a good company. JoJo's got you, so don't worry about it. He'll cover. If you just stop talking, he'll cover it, right? Don't worry.
I got Julie and JoJo, so that should be good.
So I do want to say thanks for you being here. I know it's a nice long drive, and because you beat me here, I know you're more conscientious than me this afternoon, which that's saying something,
You
buddy.
never know, Joe. 77, you just
I
never know.
You're right. You're exact. And lately it has been bad for some reason. So remind everybody that doesn't know, what is Whitewater Consulting all about?
So Whitewater Consulting is a company I started about 7 years ago. We are a business consulting practice that specializes in HR for small and mid-sized and family-owned companies. We can handle everything that falls underneath that HR umbrella for organizations. And in addition, last year we decided to expand a little bit. So we are now focused on succession planning and exit planning as well for small and mid-sized businesses.
And that mainly is your second book, correct?
It is my second book, correct.
So talk about both of those books because I can't decide which one I like. I don't know which one I like the most.
So I wrote the books with kind of the life cycle of an entrepreneur. So the first book, Unprecedented, was really written for those entrepreneurs who were launching into their business, who had been in business maybe 3 to 5 years, focused on leadership, communications, company culture, HR best practices. And we took real life stories from our clients and incorporated that into the book.
And what I like about both of these books is it's a lot of research, a lot of detail. It's not just Chuck talking, saying this is what I think, right? This is real experiences, real research, real data.
I tried to take a lot of the experiences I had, the mistakes that I made owning a business, and put that together with client stories and what some of the help we were able to give them and see some of the results, and put all of this together in a format that would allow business owners to be able to understand the problem and also see how the problem was solved.
I don't know if you know this or not, but one of our top videos on YouTube channel came from you. I don't know if you know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That was that had to be in this last year, and that had to be with you and me arguing back and forth over something.
I'm sure there was an argument involved, Chuck. I don't remember the argument. I'll get Julie to look it up. But yes, it was you and I having a conversation. That's for sure. Well, that's one of the reasons why Julie likes you on the show, because she realizes Chuck's going to tell you exactly what he thinks. He is not going to just agree with Joe just to shut Joe up.
Oh gosh! So that was my first book. The second book that we had was a book called The Family Business Blueprint, and it's written for those business owners who are looking at the possibility of succession and exit planning. So we are really laying out a process for them. When I look at small and mid-sized companies today, we've got 70% of businesses we're losing between the first generation and second generation. So I wanted to put a spotlight on that topic. So hopefully we'll be able to talk about that in more detail.
Yeah, if they want to get your book, where can they get it?
They can go to Amazon.com or go to my website, whitewaterconsulting.net.
And Julie's got it on WSIC Facebook right now. We'll be right back. Oh, she's got it all laid out for you.
He's so good. There we go.
She's got it all. Okay. So did they hear the ding-a-ling-a-ling on the radio? That was just for me? Mm-hmm. That's just for you. Okay. Got it. All right. When we come back, let's just kind of create the foundation of why you wrote those two books. Okay. And then we'll dig into this.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. I'm hoping Dave can be here because I tried to transition this right into
Right.
him. So
Okay. What I've learned from my listeners, you don't have to do a formal transition because this show is like the way I write bullet points. Okay. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? One may have nothing to do with the other. Now, there might be an overall theme for the show.
Yes.
But you know, one does not need to connect with the other, right?
yes,
We don't want to spoil them into creating some formality, you understand, Chuck?
that builds a lot of flexibility into what you want to do. Okay.
I don't mind if you transition. I'm just saying they're not used to the transition. Joe, why are you so grumpy? Eat your banana. I brought you a banana today.
I'm not grumpy. I'm feeling great today.
See what happens if he don't eat? He gets grumpy.
How about you?
So you got the whole show because it doesn't look like our guy's going to show up.
My goodness.
We can't blame him.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
We can't. I was inches. If you weren't driving in the parking lot, I would have canceled the show.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah. You are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina. I am Joe Vagnone, and this is the Burner Cigar Studio, home of the finest premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. Great people, premium cigars. Life is good at Burner Cigars, located in Birkdale Village and also in Denver and Highway 16. If you go by either one of those locations, tell them that Joe sent you, and first cigar is on me. You are listening to Local Biz Now, where I hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC, 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. I am Joe Vagnone. This is Local Biz Now, where your business matters. And I am here with my friend, whether he will admit it or not, president and founder of Whitewater Consulting, Chuck Cooper. Chuck, my friend, I keep saying it, but I really like your books. There's something about your books that is refreshingly informational, but it's not over the top, right? Like you're not using big words that I got to ask my wife how to pronounce, and that, you know, it really is something that I can kind of grasp and understand. And as you're using the experiences of a lot of small business people that you know, I am quickly finding a way to relate to all of them.
That's great. That was one of the reasons I wanted to write the book in the way that we did. I wanted it to be relatable to anybody and everybody across the country.
Well, you got it from me, buddy.
That's awesome.
And obviously for Julie, because that's why you're sitting here. You understand?
Yeah, I do.
You don't get here without going through Julie. You understand that, don't you?
She is definitely the best gatekeeper, for sure.
So, again, because we were going to the break, if somebody wanted to get your book, first of all, they can go to WSIC on Facebook. Right now, Julie has put those links on there to get both of those books. How would you like for them to get it for someone who's driving right now?
So, the easy thing for those driving is just go to Amazon.com, and you can find both of the books located there. If you'd like to visit our website, we would certainly encourage that and invite you to do so. And that website is whitewaterconsulting.net, or my personal website for the authors is chuckcooper.info, which is a new platform we've got up.
Okay, good. I didn't know you had a new platform.
I did.
What's happening there?
So we've decided to kind of break the books and the podcasts and the interviews we're doing media off to a separate location from the business to try to keep that just so I can I'm looking at taking that in a different direction as well. So we're starting to do more speaking around the country right now. And so I think there's going to be an opportunity for people to go there to capture the books in the media versus going to the business side.
Cool. Good. Okay. Well, let me just be honest with you. If you're going to start speaking, you're going to have to learn to get the tagline correct. Like you're going to have to get your business matters. You're going to do it right. The timing's got to be right. The rhythm's got to be right. You understand that, don't you?
I follow you. So I know exactly what needs to be done. You are my master.
Well, I'm the guy that goes and finds people to speak. You're never going to see me doing that speaking, Chuck. So good to hear you're doing that. Just want to make sure I'm giving you my 3 cents worth.
Well, I appreciate that. So just so you know, so what was it, 4 years ago?
Yes.
I saw the sign on LinkedIn that said, "What are you willing to suck at to get better?" And for me, it was writing to start with. This year, it's all about the speaking.
Right.
And so I'm challenging myself as a way to be an example to my kids and to my grandkids.
Right.
No matter how old you are, you can learn new tricks. And so,
and it's funny you say that because this radio show is just that. I've always been a great one-on-one person, right? But group speaking, it was just never my thing because I had no interest in doing it. And it was Wayne Beitelman that pushed me to say, come on, because if you could do it for one, there's more value if you can do it for 100, right?
Sure, absolutely.
And that's what it's about. If you can do it, you just simply have to figure out how to do it properly for a larger group.
I thought I was going to have to do it for one-on-one this afternoon.
You know what? Julie is listening. Julie, we're going to give him a show. We're going to give Chuck a show that he's going to run on his. I'm taking the day off. Let's figure out what show that's going to be, and let's give Chuck a show. Chuck, you can have any guest you want. I am going to encourage you to break out on your own, buddy. So we're going to make that happen.
Oh, my word.
You asked for it.
I know I did.
You got it. Now, that being said, you're not allowed to be a co-host on this show unless you bring something from the Google. Now, I know Chuck. Chuck is the Google. So what did you bring us?
So I brought a topic that you and I have had a chance to talk about in the past. So since I was here 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to do a talk actually done a couple of talks on 5 generations, one workforce built to last. And it's really... We've had so much fun talking about, because multi-generational workforce is just something that has been around for a while, but we are seeing a lot of businesses struggle today because, think about this, we have 10,000 baby boomers retiring, walking away from their jobs every day this year.
Wow.
And
every
day
of the year.
And we are not capturing the institutional knowledge and the experience that they have before they leave.
Wow.
So this is one.
And I experience they really don't want to sell the business. They love what they do.
Yes.
It defines them, right?
Yes.
And here's a kicker. Their children don't want the business. So what they thought they were going to do was hand it off to their kids. Their kids are like, no way, I don't want to work as hard as you did. I don't want to do what you did. So that generation really is in a much more unique position than they ever thought they were going to be. It just shows planning gets more difficult.
Well, it does. And obviously technology has affected that a great deal because it's just changed the whole world perspective for the younger generation.
So I'm going to ask you a question, and we've had this discussion before. Do you think I am now part of this generation that has a hard time employing the younger generation that the generation before me? Is it the same thing or is it a lot different? It feels like the generation that I produced,
yes.
right? My son, your sons, or your kids. It seems like they're further apart from what the expectations are, where I was, say, from my father, or where my father was from his father. Would you agree with that, or?
I absolutely 100% agree with that.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Right. So you kind of broke it down for us in workforce built to last. What are we trying to talk about here?
So we are really focused on 4 issues that are happening that are very common in businesses today, and it really starts with when you're looking at the multi-generations from the baby boomers all the way down to Gen Z. One is communications. We have major issues with regard to communication breakdowns, but more importantly, we have differences in communication preferences. So for example, Joe, with you and I, and probably even some of those that are younger than what we are, we grew up with, we did if we want to communicate, we picked up a phone and we called somebody.
Yeah.
We would call, and as a kid, we'd call and the parents would answer.
Right.
We had to learn how to speak to them, and then we got to speak to the kids.
Right.
Today, we've got the cell phones. We don't need to worry about speaking to parents or somebody in authority. We can just pick up and go directly to who we want to speak with.
Right.
So that just gives you a totally different
I
approach.
never thought about that fact that you're right. There was always a quote, somebody answering that phone that wasn't my friend first.
Sure.
Always, whether it was a sister or the mom or the dad. Absolutely.
So that's where one of those breakdowns, or those two, I guess that's the way things have changed and evolved, over the last 25, 30 years.
Well, and the other thing is, everybody in the family knew who everybody was talking to, right? They didn't know what you were talking about most of the time, but if you had a long enough phone cord,
Exactly.
right? you were high living if you had a long phone cord, right?
Boy, you could get that thing just a whipping too.
That's right. That's right. But they did. Everybody knew your friends because they would call and you'd hear their voice at a minimum.
Absolutely.
So that is different because I have no idea who my friends are now. My son's friends are.
Right. So,
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's a big difference. And when you just think about the communication, think about how baby boomers, again, our generation, we're all about meetings and phone calls. And millennials are all about platforms like Slack or Teams, to where they can just jump on, communicate with one
Right.
person and not have to talk. And then you go to Gen Z and they're like, we don't even need that. We just can jump on the apps that we want to get our information and give our information.
And a
there.
photo will say everything I want to say.
That is, and our emoji, yes, correct. Yes, it will.
Wow.
So that's
And those
one
are
of those.
four really distinct, different ways of communicating.
So as a leader, a business owner, how do you go about bringing all this together so that you can communicate effectively?
Choke three of them. But it does make running these small businesses, my clients, much harder. They are frustrated because who they're hiring and how they have to communicate is very difficult for them. Like they can't even understand how this younger generation thinks that's acceptable to get to a productive place.
But my question is, have they even asked one of those kids
Right.
those questions?
Right, because their style isn't to ask, their
That's-
style is to demand.
And then they can jump on AI today, throw their question in, and get the information they need.
Right.
And so that kind of leads into really
Interesting.
how we go about defining what productivity is. So productivity standards. When you think about baby boomer generation, we are all about, as a business owner, we want to see people in the office. We want to see butts in seats from 8 in the morning to 5. That's how we determine how productive our people are. Think about how the rest of the world operates from a productivity. There are some things that you can do that you don't have to be in a physical location. You can be
Right.
somewhere else. We just don't have the trust a lot of times in the fact that we're hiring somebody that's working virtual,
Right.
that we can't see them. So we have to think about, again, from a business, are we going to force everybody to come in and base our productivity off of that? Or are we going to look at, all right, let's open this up and look at, just because it takes somebody 4 hours to do it.
Got it. We come back. We're gonna pick up on this when we come back.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back with Your Business Matters.
That went way too fast.
We were on a roll.
No
We
kidding.
come back. We'll finish those up.
All right.
Come on over, young man.
Come on over.
We're gonna play musical chairs now.
Oh.
We're gonna come to this seat. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're gonna finish this conversation, and then I'll bring you on, Joe Vagnone.
David Hedges.
David, nice to meet you.
David, I'm gonna have you in this chair here.
Hot CH, David Hedges.
Good to see you.
Good
Nice to
see
meet you.
Have you done any radio?
It's been a long time.
Okay.
But yeah, way back in the day.
Well, we're gonna go over a few things.
Perfect. I'd love to refresh.
This studio has a few specific things that we have to do.
Got it.
One of those is the timer.
Uh-huh.
This countdown clock right here is going to count down.
Got it.
So that's kind of what's going to keep us on pace.
Mm-hmm.
Joe is going to be the only one that's able to hear the intro music.
Okay.
And the
He's only telling you to look at that screen because he knows I don't.
somebody's got to look at it. Somebody's got to look at it.
Once you get to talking it,
I know.
it's the last thing you think about.
I agree.
I don't know if you can see him, but he's over there waving like hell.
I know. He
Your
was
responsibility is to-
jumping up and down. I know. Yeah.
So
I mean,
don't
once you
worry
get in the
about that.
conversation, it's
Yeah.
the last thing you want to do is have somebody tell you to stop it.
This is what you want to be.
Yep.
This is on a swivel. So.
That goes back
Move it
to
right up.
I am a
Yeah.
12-year
Good.
amateur. You understand?
Okay.
A true professional
Yeah, it
know
should
how to
probably a little
handle
bit
that.
higher
you
would be good.
understand?
little bit
Yeah,
higher?
yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, that's good.
Right there?
Yeah, yeah. I think that. Yeah, it's like. And so when it gets to 0, then it goes commercial break.
That's
Sorry.
when we're on
Yeah.
commercial break.
Gotcha.
When the radio is on commercial, the video stream, audio and video stays on.
Oh, okay,
Will
gotcha.
not have any off-air time.
Gotcha.
On the video.
So I'm saying off color. So yeah.
Right now, everything's being broadcast right now.
Don't get.
So all of this is going on. I can see it right there.
Okay.
So
Got
just
it.
keep that in mind.
On it. Yeah.
Let's see. What else?
You want to make
That's
fun of JoJo? Now's the time to do it. Everybody
That's
can hear
important
you.
to know. That was very
can't
important
stop
to know.
it.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Yeah. Sounds good.
Other than that, please know
we,
this show, you can disagree with me, you can interrupt me, you can absolutely tell me that you don't believe I know what I'm talking about. That's okay. The owner of this station calls that good radio.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
feel free to take it any direction you want.
Is Kazepis on this? Is that? Yeah. So
So,
his wife taught two of my kids.
matter of fact,
so.
I think we got in an argument last time he was
Did you
on
really?
the show, and it became the top video we got on YouTube
Did
right
it
now.
really?
So,
That's funny.
yes. I don't remember what that top.
By the way,
what
when you guys
arg-
were talking about the communication, all
We'll
that.
have to pull
so
that
this
up.
is my second time around with family, right? So I started second with kids. I got 11, 12-year-old. And yeah, so I'm in the midst of all of that, right? I grew up in the communications business. My family owned a communications business. So I'm like all that telephone, right? All of that stuff, right? I embrace technology. I'm kind of a wirehead, fortunately for me. But again, my kids, right? Snapchat, Discord, right? All the stuff. So when you guys were talking, I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And what I tell my kids, like, use it all, right? Like Daddy says, use it. Phone, Snapchat, Discord, all of it. Yeah, everybody doesn't get to have their own thing. You have to.
Four, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So just keep that in
I
mind.
think about my kids.
If you hear anything really loud, it's
Right.
about to.
What's up?
Is it really? Okay.
I know, just call it. That's exactly right. Just call me. Just please. Yeah. Begging. Yeah. Do I bribe? Do I need to bribe? Like, what's next?
So, David, I'm sure you got in all that traffic, so thank you for driving up here.
Of course, yeah. I actually saw and I took 21, which was much better. So I got off on 36, took 21 up, and avoided all that mess. So yeah, that looked, yeah.
Thank you for coming up. I
Of
appreciate
course.
it.
Yeah.
So, Chuck, I really do want a trophy of some sort because I've been telling my friends for years that I got to ask for a trophy because no one's just going to give it to me.
Right.
I want a big trophy, Chuck.
50 seconds. 50 seconds.
50 seconds. I won't be able to finish my story in 50 seconds.
Cliff Notes.
I've been telling people that staying at home, you're gonna get paid less. The companies are going to start making that distinction, and my friend's been arguing with me for years. I think it's starting to come true.
Interesting.
Because I don't think you're going to stop people from that independence. They like it.
Right.
You're just going to have to take
But there's
about a
gonna be-
15 to 20% discount,
All right,
And I think a lot of people will do that.
ready to have some
Yeah.
fun?
Yeah. I don't
which means I
disagree.
deserve a trophy.
Right. Yeah.
Because
exactly.
I pegged this about 5 years ago.
15 seconds.
Nobody likes Chuck. He's got no friends. He never agrees with me.
3, 2, 1.
You are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina. I am Joe Vagnone. This is Local Biz Now, where your business matters. We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. I am Joe Vagnone, and your Business Matters. I'm here with my co-host for the entire month, Chuck Cooper. He's the president and founder of Whitewater Consulting. And during the break, I was picking on him, telling him I really do want a large trophy or certificate or gold medal of some sort, because as we're discussing your 5 generations of workforce, I remember telling my friends about 4 or 5 years ago that you're never going to get a lot of people to come back from working at home. They have now seen what us small business people have seen, that there's an independence to that, right? You know what I mean? And another group of people is salesmen. You know, a lot of sales managers and salespeople. We have that independence, but we were measured by productivity, right? If you don't have a measurement in productivity, working from home, it's harder to measure. And I was telling people for years that I felt like we're just going to have to start paying them less. And there was this big argument over that. But I think that's where we're headed. And what you're describing, the reason for my discussion about you need to give me some kind of a trophy or something, that's what you're describing here. Like they are prepared. They're willing to accept less for the independence of some of these things and a different way of communication. Am I reading that right, or do you want to argue with me again?
No, I think you're right on that. I was just listening to a podcast.
Hang on 1 second. Jojo, I lost his mic. Got it?
Okay.
Got it? Okay.
So I was just back listening to a podcast the other day with a guy that's a business owner in Australia, and he was talking about, with his history of working with companies in the U.S. and around the world, that people are willing to take up to a 35% reduction in pay.
Is it that much? Okay.
To be able to work virtual.
Wow.
And it's just, well, I think it kind of leads back into the productivity piece.
Right.
Because even though we may not want to work at the same location, part of this comes back to, I may be able to get a project done in 4 hours.
Right.
Where somebody sitting in the office may take 8 hours.
Right. Well, I will tell you this, that from my vantage point, that's kind of the story of my whole life. I've always worked made less working for myself than I could for somebody else, but I wanted that independence. It was the reason for that.
I think that's just, and when you look at the younger generation, I think it's actually for life in general, I think it's a healthier approach to having more of a balanced life.
Right. Okay.
So,
hey, Jojo, we got a whole nother segment after this, right? I want to make sure.
Yes, we do. We should.
Because the driving messed me up. So we've got a guest. I want to get him in here. But Chuck, I wanted to finish some of this. So can we go to number 4 on your list, which is a transfer of risk? Can you talk a little bit about that?
So as I mentioned earlier, we've got 10,000 people a day from the baby boomer generation leaving the workforce, retiring and going home, taking that institutional knowledge.
10,000 a day.
A day. And so we have to be able to, as a company, if we want to be successful long-term, we have to be able to capture that information. The challenge we've got is a lot of baby boomers feel like that institutional knowledge is their job security. So they're hanging on to that. They don't really want to share that with the younger generation that's coming in. But then on the other end,
you earned it, I did my dues. You haven't done your dues.
Figure it out on your own. Exactly.
Right.
And so you got the younger generation that they're challenged with, I really don't want to go talk to that person. I'd rather.
I don't want to learn that the way they want to teach it to me.
Correct. Because I'd rather just get on my keyboard and learn it that way than have to go talk with them.
Right.
So that's the other challenge we've got. So business owners right now have got to figure out a way on how they want to go about doing this. So we can look at basically setting up a mentoring program from the traditional to the young. Or we can do the reverse mentoring, where you've got the younger employees mentoring the older ones in the form of technology and different mindsets and different ways of solving problems. But then you've got the group, being able to bring the group of people together that are from different generations to put an issue on the table. What are our company values going to be? Or how are we going to measure productivity? And let them kind of talk through that and come up with ideas.
And you got to get the old man that's probably 79 right now to agree to this, right? I mean, that's the truth of it.
It is. And that's the hard part. And some of those, some of those guys are not going to be
I see
willing.
you smirking because
I
you and
know.
I deal with those kind of guys, right? I mean, you understand, these are very skilled, capable. They are our leaders for generation. They're city council members, they're mayors. They're very successful men. They're living in the biggest house in the town, right? That's who these guys are. And now you're telling them, hey, I want you to listen to this young man, and I want you to put a group together. And
We can't continue to operate for the long term. We can't continue to operate from the top down. It's got to be more of a collaboration.
Okay, so we got to go, but you've got 4 things that are really interesting. Defining productivity, that is so true. That we're going to have to figure out a way to do that.
Right.
Train managers.
We have to be able to train our people. They've got the skill set. They know technically what they need to do.
Right.
We've got to just be able to help them develop the people skills and the emotional intelligence that comes along with that on how to be able to bring their teams together to be more effective.
Foster mentorship, we've talked about
Yes,
that.
right.
And design individual growth plans. Be customizing based on the personalities that are around.
Correct, because everybody's got a different idea of what they want that path to be.
So people that are listening to this, that's good stuff, Chuck. Thank you so much. Absolutely. And you can get that if you go to Chuck's website. He'll be more than happy to share that with you as well. Chuck, thanks, man.
Absolutely.
So you are listening to Local Biz Now, and we always have spectacular, wise people. Today is no exception. We have David Hedges. Am I saying that correctly?
That is correct. Yep.
David is president of Bookman Bright Inc. Bookman Bright Inc. and corporate consulting. David, my friend, thank you for braving the weather and the traffic to get here today.
You are
buddy.
most welcome.
So, what brought you to us today? Because you and I haven't met each other. This is the first time we've met each other.
This is the first in person. So yeah, I've seen.
That means you got through Julie somehow.
Yes. So it actually was via the Lake Norman Chamber, right?
Oh,
so,
yes.
Right. So that was the conduit, and and that's how it all came together. So
well, just so you know, so you feel good that you're not just sitting
feel pretty
here.
Good. Yeah.
Just so you're not sitting here for no apparent reason. Julie does the video production for the chamber.
Yeah, okay, good.
So when she sees somebody who's interviewed that she likes, she puts them
that's
on.
kind
so
of an
you had
endorsement.
to pass an inspection.
Ooh, I was unaware of that, right? So yeah, so that gives a little more shine, right? So I feel a little more special. Yeah, that's good.
So welcome, David.
Thank you.
You passed the inspection.
I know the litmus test, right? Exactly. Yeah, nice.
So what is Bookman Bright Inc., Bookman Bright Consulting all about?
So I have 2 businesses, and they come together to form comprehensive financial planning, right? So the Bookman Bright Inc. is my RIA, so I'm a registered investment advisor, have fiduciary responsibilities, what have you. And then the Bookman Bright Consulting is more of my tax, risk management, insurance piece. So again, I use both of those entities to, again, bring together a comprehensive solution.
And I find that most advisors that can do both of those are much more helpful than just one or the other.
Yeah, and you have to, you can't really operate like in a silo, right? It's cause and effect everywhere, right? And so, in taxes as well, right? So I have a tax accountant in my office. I've got a tax attorney outside of my office that I use. So, when you're talking about money and numbers and math and all of that, again, especially on a tax return, all of this stuff, it's like nothing is by itself, right? So one thing affects the other or many things.
So we've only got about 20 seconds today. What's like a good client profile for you? What does that look like?
I have 3 segments that I operate in, right? So the first is people that are within 3 years of retirement, right? The second is business owners. The third is women that are either single, divorced, or widowed.
Got it.
So that's it.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk some more.
Got it.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. I'm talking with David with Bookman Bright Inc. And if it's Monday afternoon, your business matters. We'll be right back.
So are most of your clients here in this area, or are you?
Yeah, I'd say, 70%.
Okay.
Probably something like that, yeah. So I've got them, and then they're from there, they're, all over there.
So, Julie does this on purpose, you understand. So Chuck
matches
deals a lot
people
with small business people and that sort of stuff. I'm sure she wanted you two to meet up
I'm
with
sure
each
you're
other.
right.
And
Yeah.
the
There's
whole
no accident,
referral
right?
thing should work well for
No,
you
that's
two.
great.
Yeah.
No, that's
We start
fantastic.
talking about succession planning and exit planning.
Oh,
for business
yeah, all the
owners.
time. Like one of the things, especially as business owners, when I, working with them, it's like I always ask the question because it's fun to ask. I'm like, are you interested in selling, right, or whatever? And their eyes always light up, right? And they lean into me and they go, David, how much do you think I can? Yeah. I mean, it's like, it doesn't matter how long they've been doing it. It doesn't, I mean, it's always like, well, how much do you think I can get? And I'm like, I'm just,
Yes.
So, yeah, it's very funny. So anyway, there's lots of, people that say there's not opportunity, right? There's too much opportunity.
There's so much opportunity.
Oh my Lord. It's just like, it's more about defining and distilling and figuring out like, right, your skill set and what you're really good at and who you really like to work with, all of that, right? It's not like, oh, gee.
I'll tell you something. I told somebody the other day that although I do feel like the world's passing me by, right? Like I can't get old fast enough, right? You know what I mean? I mean, what I was a master at years ago was sort of no longer needed. But my brother got a master's degree in marketing, and he said everything I learned no longer exists.
Done.
But what I was willing to do when I was younger, I'm no longer as interested in doing.
Right.
But if I was, there's a lot of opportunity for young people to roll up their sleeves, spend the time and energy that I did, and they can grow these businesses and be just like all these people that are ready to retire. But it requires them to roll up their sleeves.
Right.
Yes.
And they've been taught there's a better, quicker, easier way.
Right, yeah.
That's right, exactly.
That way I don't know. Right? Jojo, why are you hollering at me?
20 seconds. It is.
Nobody likes him. He's got no friends.
Yeah,
It's pouring?
I get
Oh
it.
my gosh.
Yeah, it is. It's, yeah.
Right? 10 seconds.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Bagnone, where your business matters. This is the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina. We've been doing this for well over 12 years. We have interviewed over 910 small business owners and community leaders, and today is no exception. We are interviewing David Hedges. He is the president of Bookman Bright Consulting, and I'm here with my friend, whether he will admit it or not, and the founder of Whitewater Consulting, Chuck Cooper. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here very much.
Sure.
So David, we were talking about what sort of a buyer profile looks like that's a good catch for you, right? So if there's somebody listening, kind of walk me through what that looks like. Before the break, I heard they were within about 3 years of retirement. But you know what? Even that question is tricky. Right?
Yeah. It is.
I mean, I don't know whether I'm within 3 years of retirement.
There's that, right? Yeah, because people, people, the retirement, the definition of retirement can mean so many different things, right? And by and large, most of my clients, they're doers, right?
Right.
So it's not like they're retired, they're going to, sit in a rocking chair on the porch and drink iced tea, right?
Right.
So, retirement really, I mean, at least for most of the people that I work with that are clients of mine, it's like, listen, I don't need to work for anything, right? My money's doing the work, right? I've got plenty of income coming in, what have you. And, sad but true, a lot of times, like, they say something like, now I really want to, now I'm going to do what I really want to do or something. Right. I'm like, seriously? You spent, 30 or 40 years, whatever. So again, I had a new client leave my office a couple of days ago. I think it was like Thursday. And they left my office, and one of their parting words or phrases, they go, David, you're like a life coach or a financial life coach. I'm like, first of all, I love psychology, so that played right into what I do. Right. But seriously, when we're in my office around my table, I mean, money is connected to all of it, right?
Right.
All of your lifestyle, right? Just all of it. And so it's like, I do find myself, I've got this huge whiteboard that's on rollers that I swing out and just, map it all out, right? So here you were, your little baby.
So as I'm talking, you're kind of throwing it up on the board.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Next thing I know, we've got a plan, and I didn't realize it.
Yeah. I'm painting the picture as you're talking. I'm like, and literally I start with and people kind of chuckle, right? It's like, okay, you were born right here. You're just a little baby, right? And then I go right through, and I'm like, in timeline, right? I'm very in touch with mortality, morbidity, all of that, because you have to be practical about it.
Oh, see now, you just...
I'm sorry, Joe.
My wife 2 months ago informed me that she went to the Google and found out that the average lifespan for a guy like me living in Cornelius, I got 16 more years to live.
Right.
You know? So when you think of it that way, that whiteboard you can cut in half, right?
Hey, listen, you know what's even more enlightening is like how many more Christmases do I have?
Right.
Ooh, that starts hitting home, right?
That's right. That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
How many more Easters? How many do it? Yeah, all of a sudden, boy, sense of urgency.
And I don't know about you, Chuck, but for me, the clients that I see, retirement is not to do nothing. It's to wake up in the morning and do something that they want to do. Their
Absolutely.
purpose changed.
That's right.
But
Yes.
we are all people that when we get up in the morning, we want to
on.
have something to do.
It's
right?
on.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Yeah. So and so having said that, it's like the people again they just want to. First of all, we all like security, right? We all like security. We love certainty. In a world of, you could argue that it's otherwise very uncertain.
Well,
right?
nowadays you have to embrace the uncertainty.
You do.
If not, you will go crazy.
You will.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah, fast. And so, again, putting together all of the elements of, that lifestyle, right? The money piece, right? The investment, the tax piece, just all of that, the risk management piece, right? The insurance piece, just all of those things. And then along with, okay, what's your path forward, right? What does that look like? Down to, where you're going to live. What are you going to do? What does your ideal day look like?
And it's interesting because obviously my wife and I are at this age, right? And she's a fly fisher woman, so she wants a place in the mountains.
Yeah.
I'm a lake guy. We're already on the lake. Honey, if I wanted to be in the mountains, I'd already be on the mountains, right?
Right.
So here's it. We've got this challenge.
You have that.
So I bring that to you and put that on the board, right?
Right, you would.
That's
yeah.
right.
Okay, Joe, here you
That's
are,
right.
and then here you are. Yeah, right, exactly.
So my home on the lake gets smaller,
Exactly. There's your little thing right there, Joe.
So that's the first challenge that we have,
Yes.
right? That you have to deal with. And the other thing is, they're not sure, right? Like, so when they're coming to you, they really don't know. I'll give you a great example. My mother, who's 83 years old, all four of us kids are trying to figure out how to deal with her, right, as she's getting older. And my wife and I are looking at each other and we say, all the insurance we have been trying to put together for years seems obsolete. The insurance we need is if we've got to go in some sort of a home of some sort. It's a completely different view of what we thought we needed. So without somebody like you, we're making plans that won't even happen.
I tell people financial tools and instruments have an expiration date on them sometimes. And so it's like whatever
Which is not what we were taught when we were younger.
Right.
So
buy it and
what is
forget
that?
it, right? Just buy it and forget it. And it's not like that. It's like, listen, that's one of the, right on the front end, I'm like, okay, let's go. Once somebody hires me, right? I'm like, okay, so we're going to inventory everything. And then I start going through and be like, okay, so what do you own this for? Literally. Like if it's an insurance policy, what do you own this for? Well, David, it's life insurance.
I thought I had to have it.
I know it is, but what do you own it for? And they're like, well, I'm like, listen, your balance sheet is big enough. You can self-insure. So as far as the life insurance goes, and so again, we're having all of those talks, and they're looking at me going, holy cow. It's like, again, as you said, it's like you were taught, like, put all this together and then just monitor it, right?
That's right.
Just kind of,
That's right.
Yeah, it's like, no.
Well, you look at everything today and how fast things change. So when it comes to estate plans or financial plans, how often should they be reviewing that? Because I talk to business owners all the time that put in buy-sell agreements 25 years ago. And they're still exactly the same today as they were 25 years ago. So what kind of counsel would you give to them?
I would say, again, anytime there's significant tax legislation that gets passed, you should be reviewing things, right? So, anytime you have any, that's a good catalyst right away, right? So a default, 3 to 5 years. But if there's legislation that's been passed that's significant, it's definitely a catalyst to start looking at, personal estate plans, buy-sell agreements for businesses, just all the stuff. And again, it can be fairly overwhelming for people, right? They put
I was going to say, you two guys frustrate me, right? Because because
hey, I did it.
You know what YouTube guys
Goal
remind
achieved. I'm done.
David said I did my job.
That's right. I'm out. Yeah,
I'm
thanks
good.
for having me.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Julie, for putting both of these two together for me. You two remind me of the 2-inch thick manual I'm supposed to read on all the different stuff I have to do
Right.
to keep my lazy boy working properly.
Right.
It's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I need to have small business people hear is get up with Chuck, get up with David, and then every 2 years or so, make the call.
Right.
Do me a favor, take a review, tell me what you think. Because if you guys are doing the review of the manual, right,
exactly.
it's a whole lot easier than if I have to do it.
Well, yeah, if we're
Right.
bringing you a client or a client that has already got
Sort
their
of a
house in
review.
order and they've done a
Right.
review, it makes your world a whole lot easier.
Oh my Lord. Yeah.
But getting them there is really important.
Right. And because anything that we can procrastinate, we do, right? I mean, there's always, especially business owners. I mean, again, we're all like, bam, 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 right? I mean, it's like your day is full and the next day is full, the next day is full. So trying to address something that otherwise could be left alone,
Right.
because it's not a priority. You're not at DEFCON 1, right?
Right.
It's easy to do, right? It just is.
Give me an idea of what are the motivations that somebody has to pick up the phone and call you? Is it a retirement?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's a level of uncertainty that goes along with, am I headed in the right direction? Am I doing the right stuff? Is there more that I can do? And I also tell people that a lot of times it's, not a lot of times, most of the time, it starts with a tax return. A tax return tells a story. And so, I kind of laugh at some of the...
I don't know. Are you sure?
Well, it can tell lies. It can tell the truth. I mean, it tells the story, Joe. It does.
Okay.
And so the bottom line is that, looking at, a tax return can just tell me a lot about what's going on, and also what improvements can be made just by looking at line items, right? So I kind of laugh at some of the, other businesses that are in my business said, we don't give tax advice or something. I'm like, you don't give I'm like, in your business? That's like...
David, I think that's what works for me, and Chuck can tell I'm kind of nodding my head because we get a lot of financial planners here.
Yeah.
That's what's working for me with you is I do like that holistic.
Oh, my Lord.
And
Yeah.
I'm not, I mean, I get that you still want your accountant to take a final look at it, but if someone doesn't even suggest it, I don't even know to think about it.
No, it's gotta be all the moving parts and pieces. And I get that even for, the individual that's a financial advisor, that it could be overwhelming, right? I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
But I think today, are you seeing that people putting together a team, like with the CPA and with the attorney coming together around them to help them, or is it one person?
Chuck, some do, some don't, right? I mean, it's like, it depends. Sometimes. I have others that, they'll hire somebody for, something, and then it'll be a DIY for something else. So, I can't say it's necessarily the norm. So yeah, it's happenstance. Yeah.
If somebody wanted to reach you, my friend, how can they?
They can email me, david@bookmanbright.com. They can call me at 704-256-6016. Go to my website, bookmanbright.com. So yeah, pretty easy. Send a homing pigeon.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
David is the president of Bookman Bright Consulting. My friend, thanks for coming up. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and I'm here with David Hedges and Chuck Cooper, where your business matters. We'll see you next week.